Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Season 6, Episode 31, overall Episode 306 of Live with CDP Sports Talk on this Sunday, August 6, 2023. A rainy day here in Guelph, and you can blame me for the rain because I had my car washed last night. Every time I get my vehicle washed, it rains within hours. So, again, Live with CDP Sports Talk is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, or give them a call at 519-824-0210, or email them at info@barrycullenchevrolet.com as well. I'm looking forward to my guest tonight. This is her first appearance on Live with CDP Sports Talk, and her name is Zondra Lee. She's a professional wrestler out of Northland Wrestling out of North Bay, and I believe she's a native of Sucker Ditch, Ontario. I have to ask her where Sucker Ditch, Ontario is, but I'm really looking forward to having Zondra Lee on, and she's going to be in Jacques Rougeau's Wrestling Academy on August 20th in Montreal, Quebec as well. So just one second, guys, I'm going to bring on my guest tonight. Good evening, Zondra. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How's the weather your way?
It's not too bad. It's about to rain, but it hasn't started yet.
Yeah, you can blame me for the rain because anytime I get my vehicle washed, it rains within hours. So I'm kind of the rainmaker.
I guess you could say that.
Well, hey, I want to say thank you so much for coming on here tonight. And how was your match last night in Sudbury, and how was that overall?
It was quite interesting. It was a triple threat, so those are always they're always hectic, but it was a good experience for sure, and it was a lot of fun with the parts I got to do, and the crowd was great, so it was a learning experience. So I was happy to do it for sure.
How far of a drive was it to Sudbury, and what kind of crowd did they have last night? Like a couple hundred, maybe?
Yeah, so from where I am, it's 2 hours to Sudbury, and the crowd it was almost, if not 200, it was like just under 200, like probably around 190. There
That's
Sorry?
a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, they were good. They were very, very excited to be there. It was a hot crowd, so I was happy with it.
What was the name of the wrestling promotion in Sudbury? Is it the same one, Northland Wrestling?
No, so I was with GCW last night. Northland
Okay.
Wrestling is just in North Bay.
Okay. And you've wrestled there before, I guess?
I wrestled with them once. I did like a rumble with them last year. This was my first kind of, well, it was a triple threat, so it wasn't a singles, but it was like first match, really. Like a rumble is just a bunch of people in the ring, so
Okay.
I've wrestled with them once before, yes.
Now, do they tape does the Northland Wrestling and the one that you were in last night, do they tape their showings and stuff for YouTube and that, etc.?
Yes, they do. So Northland has been taping my matches. They're just like editing them right now, but they hopefully will be out soon. And then GCW, I'm not too sure how they work theirs, but they did film it, yes.
Okay. Now, you're from Sucker Ditch, Ontario. Where exactly is that?
So it's actually where I'm actually from. It's Trout Creek. Sucker Ditch is just it's kind of like a little nickname the other towns gave us because they don't really like Trout Creek. But I'm actually from Trout Creek, Ontario.
Okay, and how big of a population is it, and how far is it from North Bay?
So the population is like 500, so it's very small.
Small.
And it's like around like half an hour away from North Bay, so it's not too bad.
Wow. Okay. Well, at least the weather wasn't too bad going to Sudbury, because I know in the wintertime the weather can be harsh up in northern Ontario.
Yeah, it can be very painful up here, but yeah, it was really hot yesterday, so it was good.
By the way, ironically, I was born in northern Ontario. I was born in Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that's cool.
And in September I might have my show on Northern Ontario radio station as well. So fingers crossed as well. So there is a little connections with me in Northern Ontario, and the last time I was in North Bay was 1993. So I do need to get
Oh,
back to visit North Bay. It's been a while.
yeah, it's changed a bit since back then.
Definitely, I was there for a baseball tournament, and our teams didn't do well. I think we had a few drinks and had food, but our team wasn't very good. That's what I remember most about it.
Mm.
So, all right, Zondra, get into some questions. Can you tell my audience just a little bit about yourself, and when did you start watching wrestling and showing interest in it?
Yeah, so I've watched wrestling kind of like my whole life. Like when I was younger, I would just watch it with my dad, like when he was making supper or anything. Like he would just have it on his phone and I would watch it. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't really into it. And then around 10, 11, I started really watching this one indie production in the States, Shakara Pro. That's what it was called. They don't run anymore, but that was the promotion that really got me to love wrestling. And then when I was 12, I decided that that's when I wanted to become a wrestler. And at that age, like you can't do much at 12 years old. But the following year, I went to this one show in North Bay, Northland Wrestling, and I went up to the promoter, Dann Jarris, and I asked him about if he knew any training or like if he was going to open a school. I was 13 at that time, so he kind of just played it off as like a little kid, just asking and like this, it's my dream to be a wrestler, like not taking it seriously. And then in 2021, when I was 15 years old, I went to the school he had just opened up, and I've been training there ever since.
Wow. When you were watching wrestling, I'm assuming it was WWE or AEW, and did you have some male and female wrestlers that influenced your career?
Yeah, so when I first started, I actually wasn't really into WWE. It was more the indie circuit,
Okay.
but um, as I've gotten older, I've more gotten into WWE and AEW, and one person who has really inspired me a lot has been Rhea Ripley. I kind of, when I got older, I would watch her more and more, and she's a huge inspiration for sure. I absolutely love Rhea Ripley.
What do you like about her most? Her personality, or her work ethic, or her style in the ring?
Kind of like everything put together. Like she has a great look, like a great gimmick. She's the one person who you will remember just from how she presents herself. And then her style is, it's more like forceful, like it's very brutal, which I absolutely love. Like the strong, like the striking, I absolutely love that. So it's kind of just, she's like the whole package for me. Like I love everything about her.
Now, when you wrestle too, do you like to do technical moves, or are you more kind of like a brawler type, like style?
When I first started, I was more technical for sure, but
Okay.
as I've done it longer, it's been more striking and just like big power moves. But I do add technical in there as well, just not as much as I did at the start.
Okay. Besides Rhea Ripley, was there any other female wrestlers, and even maybe possibly some male wrestlers that you liked as well?
Yeah, so there's a lot. I actually more watched men's wrestling, to be honest. But for females, I did like Britt Baker. I know
Yep.
she's like newer for sure, but she was another wrestler that I loved. And then on the indie circuit, I liked watching now Rosemary. She used to be Courtney Rush, but I loved
Yep.
watching her. She was like her craziness. I absolutely loved watching her work. And then for men, um, I mean, in like WWE, there's tons of wrestlers that I can name off, but I do love Triple H. I think when he would wrestle, it was just he was perfect at it. Like
Yep.
he's just amazing. And on the indie circuit, there's tons out there. None really come to mind that I like kind of idolized as younger, but there's definitely many that I would watch.
When I started wrestling, I didn't get into it until about 85. I know I'm ancient, but it was because of Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan, back then,
Mhm.
he was like the Rock. He was the pre-Rock, the pre-Stone Cold, and
Mhm.
Hulkamania, and then the Ultimate Warrior. And then one of my other favorites was Bret the Hitman Hart, because not just because he was Canadian, but because he took his character so seriously and believed that he was the best he was. And I just enjoyed how he wrestled technically. And same with Kurt Hennig, the late Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect too. I kind of like the technical guys too, but I gotta admit, Hulk Hogan was the reason I got into professional wrestling back in the 80s.
Mhm.
So have you ever had a chance to watch some of the old wrestling matches from back in the 80s and 90s?
I will go on YouTube sometimes to
Yeah.
look up some older ones. I wouldn't say I know too much about it, but I do watch it occasionally, yes.
Yeah. And then they've got a wrestler. I don't watch it as much as I used to. I actually watch a lot more of the independent wrestling, like Crossbody Pro Wrestling in Cambridge. And I think
Mhm.
it's fabulous. And I like to support local wrestling. And the men and women work their butts off. And one thing that bothers me too, even though things are, I don't want to say the words scripted or whatever, you have to be an athlete and an actress or actor to do this. It's not easy.
No, no, it's not. It's a challenge for sure.
Now you debate and your first match was in 2021. Do you remember who your opponent was and were you a little bit nervous at the time?
Yeah, so my opponent was Sydney Ryder. It was actually my sister who I had trained with for 3 months.
Wow.
So that match was it was more easy to because I knew her and like I lived with her my whole life, so it was easy to put together. And if we messed up, we had like that little connection that we could work something new out if we needed to. I was very nervous. Confidence is something that I've struggled with a lot. So like behind the curtain, I was like shaking like a leaf. I was so scared. But as soon as I stepped through the curtain and I got into the ring, it's like all the nervousness just melted away, and I was confident in what I was doing.
Was there a lot of people watching that first match?
So it was the first match. It was like 2021, so it's still like restrictions
Yeah,
with
that's true.
COVID and stuff. I think it was more just like family and friends. So I think it was like 50 or 60 people there.
Okay. I want to also ask you this as well, Zondra.
Mhm.
What do you prefer? Do you prefer to be the baby face or do you find it more fun to be the heel?
Definitely the heel. That's what I started working as. And I find
Okay.
it uh honestly I get more excited when the crowd boos me and when they're angry at me. It just I don't know, gets the adrenaline pumping for me. So it's definitely I find it more fun being the heel for sure.
Do you have any rituals before a match just to get you focused and keep you calm before a match?
I wouldn't say rituals, but like definitely I listen to music before I go out
Okay.
just to kind of get me in the mood. Like I have like this playlist, I call it lunatic vibes, definitely to get me in the mindset. So I'll listen to music and as I'm stretching, and that's really the only thing.
Do you have a intro right now for yourself to come out? And I know sometimes you have to watch it for music because of copyright. So I was just going to ask you if you had a particular song that you use right now for your matches.
Yeah, so I've used actually the same song since the beginning because I
Okay.
actually got permission from the artist. And
Okay.
it's the instrumental version of Renegade by Manifest. So I messaged him and just to make sure it was all okay with him if I used it, and like he gave me permission, so I've used that since the beginning.
So that's the same song that Styx came out with back in the late 70s?
No,
Renegade? It's a
no, this
different
is
one.
it's a different one. Yeah, it's
Okay.
by a Canadian rapper called Manifest.
Okay, I will have to check that out. So, okay, we got the music part of it. Now, did you pick out your colors that you want to wear yet, or are you just kind of wear whatever you want to wear for the ring that night?
Yeah, so I've kind of stuck with the red and black. Like I kind of played around with the idea at first, because I wasn't too sure what I should wear for my first match. And then I just decided to go with red and black, and it's kind of just stuck with me ever
Okay.
since. So I did actually get like custom gear now, so it's like unique to me, and it's still red and black, and I absolutely love the look, and I think it looks great. So I'll probably stick with that.
I was gonna say because people can identify with wrestlers with their music and with their colors and stuff like that as well. And sometimes it takes a while for wrestlers to figure out what kind of intro music they want to come out to or the color. So that's important too. Now, wrestling
Mhm.
boots. How important is it to have good wrestling boots?
Oh, it's really important for sure because it helps support you, and it also it just looks better. Like it it makes you look professional when you actually have wrestling boots instead of shoes. Like I had wrestling shoes for the longest time, and then I finally found someone who would make wrestling boots, and I got them custom made, and it completely changed the whole look, and it just looks so much better than just regular wrestling shoes. So I would say if you can and you have the money and the time to get wrestling boots, to definitely invest in them.
Yeah, because it's an investment, and you also don't want to have injuries too, and that does happen in professional wrestling as well. So you want to try to make sure you have the right equipment to be in the ring.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so the next question I wanted to ask you, you did mention Dan's name, but who else helped train you in professional wrestling?
Yeah, so I've had a lot of help from other classmates. Um, And then I've done, like, seminars with other people. I've never, like, gone to any different coaches before, but, like, I've had other wrestlers, like, give me input or, like, I'll do, like, a little quick session with them. Um, I did, like, 2 little short things with, Jimmy Garvin one time, and then, like, I've done some seminars with, Trent Seven and Marty Scurll. Like, I've done, little increments with other people, but I've never, like, gone to any other coaches, no.
Okay. And how did you come about Jacques Rougeau and the Wrestling Academy, which you're going to be a part of on May 20th in Montreal, Quebec? I think at Club Soda, I believe they're still having it
Yes,
there.
yes,
Yes.
it's still at Club Soda. So I had heard about it last year, like, I wasn't too sure what it was, but, like, I knew another wrestler who was doing it, and then at one point, they had approached me and asked if I would be interested in joining Wrestling Academy because another girl had dropped out. So I thought they were joking at first, but then they said that they could hook me up with Jacques Rougeau. So that wrestler set me up with him, and I just messaged him, kind of sent my stuff in, did a little video call with him, and I got into that tag match because another girl had dropped out. So I found out about it through another wrestler.
And your opponents for this triple threat on August 20th, which is a Sunday night, and I think bell time is 7 o'clock. And I'm doing a little plug for Jacques Rougeau, by the way. LutteAcademy.ca or WrestlingAcademy.ca. But what are your thoughts on this triple threat match at Wrestling Academy or Lutte Academy with Zoe Sager and Casey Spinelli? Thoughts on them?
Yeah, so I definitely have a lot of respect for both of them. I have wrestled Casey Spinelli before. She was actually my second match. She was the second person I'd wrestled. So there's definitely a lot of respect there. I'm very excited to be able to work with them in the triple threat. I'm nervous, um, obviously because it's a triple threat. Those are always hard to work out, but I think it'll be fun for sure to be able to get their input and kind of work out ideas for how we can make this work. But I've never met Zoe before, so I'm really excited to see what she's like and just be able to work it out. But yeah, I would say I'm excited for sure.
I've heard of both of them, and I think I've seen Zoe Sager wrestle. I can't remember if it was in Cambridge or Wrestling 360 in Guelph, but I'm pretty sure I've seen Sager wrestle before. But Casey Spinelli, I've heard of as well. And what challenges do those ladies present to you in the ring?
Definitely experience for sure. Like
Okay.
Spinelli, she's been doing it for I don't even know how many years. Like she's had probably close to like 1,000 matches. So she's definitely the most experienced out of us. And then Zoe, she's very aggressive and she's just she takes control in the ring. So that would be my challenge with her. So it's definitely an experience thing because I've been doing this for such a short time compared to them. So experience would probably be the most challenging thing.
Just keep doing what you're doing and getting your reps in. I saw your promo for Wrestling Academy or Lutte Academy, and I thought it was great. I don't know how long you've been doing promos, but I thought you nailed it. Not just for mine, but the one you did for Wrestling Academy as well. I thought it was well done.
Oh, well, yeah, I haven't been doing promos too long, but I've gotten a lot of good feedback from them, so I must be doing something right there.
Just be yourself outside the ring and inside the ring, and people will really graduate. They'll become your fans as well. And you know what? Even being a heel, I still cheer for the heels. And a
Mhm.
lot of the guys I talk to, they prefer the heels over the baby faces and stuff like that. Now, I got to ask you this question: is it up to the wrestler or wrestlers if they're going to be heel or baby face, or do they talk to the promoter about it?
So it ultimately comes down to the promoter, yes. You do whatever you're told to do. You can definitely give your input and like let them know what you usually work as, and usually that helps influence their decision, but it ultimately comes down to the promoter's decision of on what he wants you to do that night.
Okay. And also, how important is nutrition and fitness and cardio at being a pro wrestler as well?
Oh, that's very important for sure. Like if you don't have cardio, you're gonna blow up so fast in the ring, you won't be able to keep up, and you'll start to feel sick. You just won't be able to do it. So eating right and working out is very important because you gotta look the part, right? And it helps you be able to get through the match and just keep up with the other people. So that's definitely important. Like if you can't do the work, it's gonna show. Definitely, it's very important for sure.
And also, when you're doing your matches with your opponent, do you guys decide if you're going to do a slower pace or a high? What kind of? I should have. I'm going to reward this question. When you do your matches, what do you prefer? Do you prefer a higher tempo, a pace of a match, or are you okay with a slower type pace?
Well, that does depend on like how long we're supposed to go.
Okay.
Um, I like it kind of not like super fast, but like always engaging people, like always moving. I wouldn't say I like it like super slow, but kind of just like mid where we're always doing something, like not completely burning yourself out, but constantly moving for sure.
What has been your longest match so far, time-wise, approximately? And have you had any quick matches, like less than 2 minutes? I guess they call them squash matches. Hopefully, you haven't had any of those.
No, I've never had a squash match. I've definitely done lots of practice matches, but for like on a show match, I would say the longest I've gone is 13 minutes.
Wow, that's a lot. Like people are like, "Oh, 13 minutes isn't that long," but when you're performing in that ring and doing camera work and then doing media work, I have so much respect because it's not easy to do. It's not.
Mhm. No, it takes a lot of
And
concentration for sure.
absolutely. And also too, you want to make your opponent look good and you also want to protect them. You don't want your opponent getting hurt either.
Yeah, you try and protect each other as much as you can for sure.
How important is the referee in a match as well?
Yeah, so the referee, a lot of people underuse them because they're another person who can help you. Like they can, if you have a spot that you need to do, you can go to the ref and like make sure he tells you, or if people from the back need to convey a message, they can tell the ref. The ref is very important, and a lot of people underuse them. So if you need times or anything, you can just go to the ref. Like the ref is there to help you. So a lot of people don't use them as much as they should, but the refs are very important.
Absolutely. Since we were talking about Wrestling Academy, I did get a clip off Jacques Rougeau's face. I know you sent me some wrestling videos. This one has some of your match in it, but also your promo for Wrestling Academy with Jacques Rougeau. Is it okay if I air it? It's about a 48-second clip off of YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, 1 second. Get in trouble with the copyright for the music. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, I think I know why it's freezing. Just bear with me. I think I know what.
Jacques Rougeau Wrestling Academy 2023 has officially brought Zondra Lee into the picture, and now this competition will be worth watching because it's full of people who think the world owes them something. You are entitled to nothing, so bring your lawyers if you want, because all you are wannabes, and I'm the only one in this competition that matters, and the only one that QT will be watching.
I thought you did a great job on the promo and stuff like that too. And if I do have you back on as a guest in the future, we'll definitely show a couple more of your matches as well.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
and Jacques, I think, going to be trying to watch this today. So do you have any words for Jacques Rougeau and maybe your opponents to promote your match again?
Yeah, well, with Jacques, I definitely appreciate the opportunity. It's blown me away how much I've learned in that one competition that I did back in May. So thank you so much, Jacques, for helping me and teaching me all those little things. And then for the match, yeah, definitely come out to it if you can, because it's going to be big. Like there's going to be so many new up and comers there. Like this competition is for the next generation of wrestlers. So if you come, you're like witnessing history almost. So if you can come to the semifinals, definitely make your way out there because it's going to be an amazing show and it's going to blow you away.
When I had Jacques on my show, I said it's sort of like America's Got Talent. It's more like Canada's Got Talent for wrestlers. And
Hmm.
he was talking to me possibly in the future they might open it up to other countries in the world too. But I think what he's doing is great, and I'm hoping this continues every year. And this year I'm not going to be able to get down there, but I'm hoping next year I'll be able to see you wrestle live and the other people down there as well. I've never been to Quebec, so I'm kind of looking forward to eventually getting down there for this.
Yeah, it's an interesting city for sure.
Absolutely. Are you still good for time?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Wanted to ask you about last night. Just quick thoughts on your matches, on your most recent matches, and what do you like about what you're doing in the ring right now, and what are you looking to improve upon?
Yeah, so last night, it was a learning experience. Like that was I've never really worked a match with like that before. Like I've wrestled both of the other people who were in the match, but it was learning how to work with both of them together was definitely a learning experience. What I could improve upon in my matches is definitely more character work and ring awareness, like reading the crowd and learning how to react from that, and more confidence in like calling on the fly when something isn't working, just kind of to take more control in it. But yeah, definitely character work. I have improved on it for sure. Like from when I first started, it's been a quite the a difference, but I could definitely do better. Like you can always do better.
Awesome, and that goes for any career, and that's what I'm trying to do. I try
Mhm.
to learn and improve every show. One thing, Zondra, How did you come up? Do you have a finishing maneuver? And how did you come up with it? And what are some of your favorite moves to use in the ring?
Yeah, so my finisher has changed. Like my first one I picked was the Texas Cloverleaf, which is a submission. But right now I call it Discord. It's a fisherman suplex roll through into a blockbuster hold. That's my current finisher, and I think it looks amazing. So I'm probably gonna keep that for a while. But moves that I like to do, I like to do a lot of power moves. I love throwing in different suplexes for sure. Those are probably one of my favorite things to do. And then I love like there's this tornado DDT that I do that I think it looks good when I am with the right people and I'm able to actually complete it. But definitely a lot of power moves. I think I can make it look good, so I stick with what I'm good at and I make sure that I do it 100%.
I think we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, but I guess you did wrestle Crystal Moon at some point, who's the Crossbody Pro Women's Females Champion.
Yes, I did. I've wrestled her twice.
Thoughts on her? I think she's tremendous.
Yeah, definitely have improved from when I first wrestled her, so I'm not too sure how it would go this time. When I first met her, it was definitely a challenge because like I was brand new, so I was still unsure on how to work.
Hmm.
But I would definitely like to wrestle with her again before I like make like a final say because um she was kind of like first kind of turning heel at that point, I think. So it's like her learning how to lead someone who's completely new. So I
Yes,
think we
and
both I think
go
we
ahead.
both have
Sorry.
improved for sure.
Yeah.
So I would love to kind of see what both of us can do again if we ever were to have a match together. I think we I think we could do a lot better than the first time
Yeah.
we met.
Well, she works hard, and I liked her as a baby face, but I even told her off the record. Actually, when I interviewed her, I said, I think you made the right choice going to Hill because I think it really fits her personality and character, and she does a great job in the ring and stuff like that. And another one, too, I wanted to mention, I'm not sure if you've wrestled her. I've seen her wrestle at Crossbody Pro Wrestling a bit, Alexia Nicole.
I've never wrestled her, but I have heard about her and watched some of her work, but I've never wrestled her. It would be something I would love to do. Like I'd love to meet up with her, but I've never wrestled her, but that is a goal eventually.
And what I like about her is I think she's only 5'3", 5'4", but you know what? She doesn't let her size stop her from what she's doing in the ring.
Hmm. Yeah, sometimes it can be an advantage in some ways.
Quickness too. Quickness.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So, okay. Who have been some of your toughest opponents in the ring so far in your career so far?
Definitely my toughest opponent would be Jody Threat. Um, that was that was a exciting night for sure. But she was definitely my toughest. Like she was amazing to work with, but she was hardest hitting woman I've ever met.
When you want to win a match, do you prefer the 1, 2, 3, or do you kind of get more satisfaction out of the submission hold and making people tap out?
I honestly prefer the 1, 2, 3 count because just that feeling of like, hey, I just laid this person out, and you get to like be on top of them as the
Yeah.
ref is counting. I love that feeling, but it depends on I'm working. Like if I can get to tap them out, sometimes that feels way better. But overall, I would say the pinning I prefer.
Okay. Next question I wanted to ask you, and I don't know how Northland Wrestling does it, but I know Crossbody Pro Wrestling, they have intergender matches. What are your thoughts on them, and have you been in one of those matches yet?
So yeah, I've been in officially like two intergender matches that like were on a show. I only actually train with guys. I'm the only girl out of the school I'm in, so I always have to be with guys. But I've only been officially in two intergender matches. Personally, I don't have an issue with it. I'm perfectly fine with wrestling a man. Um, Northland Wrestling, they don't do intergender matches very often. It's very rarely that they do. I think if they're portrayed the way they're supposed to and if they're done right, they can be phenomenal. It's just you have to find the right people to do them for it to make sense and for it to work cohesively together. But I have no problem working intergender.
And I really enjoy them. Like I know what with Ben Ortman's what he does. I really don't even care what the like male, female, whatever. I just care about having a good entertaining match and I'm
Mhm.
hoping one day you'll be up in Cambridge maybe next year possibly, fingers crossed, and it'll be good to see you
Mhm.
in one of those matches as well. And people don't realize how much work there is in a professional wrestler. It's not just the matches, the in ring matches, but outside of it as well.
Mhm. Yeah, it's a lot of work goes into it for sure.
Overall, how's your experience been with Northland Wrestling, and what have the male wrestlers been like with you? Like, since you were saying you're the only female wrestler up there right now.
Yeah, so Northland Wrestling, it's a wonderful promotion. It's very well put together. I think the shows are always amazing. Like just the setup, I think it looks great. The locker room, it's very welcoming. Like all the guys, they're great and like they're just a fun group. The school, like who I train with, Energy Y Pro, all the guys there, they're great guys. They're amazing to work with. They're all very respectful and we get along. Like I don't have any issues with any of them. They all treat me right. Sometimes a little too soft, but they've gotten better where they'll hit me just as hard, which I appreciate for sure. That sounds weird to say, but it's just when they treat you the same, I think
Yeah.
it's better. But yeah, they're all amazing, amazing guys.
What's
They'll
where's
definitely go far.
That's awesome to hear. Where's the best place for people to check out Northland Wrestling online? Like, do they have a website or are on Twitter or social media accounts where people can check that out?
Yeah, so they're both on Facebook and Instagram. It's just Northland Wrestling. You just have to type that in, and it should show up like the first thing that shows up. There's also a website, northlandwrestling.ca, that you can go and look up upcoming shows and matches and like the roster and everything. So there is a website along with social media pages as well.
Okay. Now you're still young into your career. Which title belt right now that you kind of have your eyes on set on for now?
Oh, um, at this point, anyone that I can get my hands on. Um, I wouldn't say there's like one in particular that I want or I need, but like if I can get the opportunity to wrestle for one and get one, I'll take whatever I can get. Like the match I actually did last night was a title shot. It was a three-way title shot. So I didn't end up getting it, but it was cool to still be in that match. But
How
I'll
long?
take it.
I was gonna say sorry. How long was that match last night? Approximately
It was around 10 minutes.
10 minutes. Yeah. What's the most satisfying thing about a ring performance? Just yeah. Can you just tell us a little bit about what's so satisfying about it?
The most satisfying thing is when the crowd reacts when they're supposed to, like the way you want them to, like where you're planning it out in your head of how you want them to react to you, and then you do that move or that gesture, and then they react in the exact way you wanted them to. That's one of the best feelings, most satisfying. And then when you're working so hard that you can convince them that you actually hate the other person. Like um if you're striking someone and then you get a good one and then they think that to convince them that you're in a fight, that when you can make them think for that split second that they actually do not like the other person, then that's also one of the best feelings you can get.
Being young, I was going to ask you as well. Do you sometimes find yourself staying in character when you're done, or as soon as the match is over, you just go back to your normal self? Because I know sometimes in professional wrestling, guys can like the late Macho Man Randy Savage. I think lived and breathed his character even outside of the ring as well.
Yeah, so it kind of depends. Like sometimes I'll stay in character, but like, when it's like intermission or meet and greet, I'll just be myself
Yeah.
with the people. Unless, I'm supposed to stay in character, then I will. But it's kind of like 50-50. It depends on what I'm doing and like what the match was and how I'm feeling. But normally I will go back to myself after the match.
Okay. And just got a couple of quick questions to ask you, and we'll wrap this up. By the way, this show is on WQEE 99.1 FM in Metro Atlanta, the home of Southern Talk in sports. And I want to shout out my station manager, Ryan O'Neill, for bringing my show on his station 6 months ago. And I've just been really lucky with great opportunities and to have great guests like yourself, Zondra. And even though I can't wrestle and I'm too old for it now, I really enjoy the independent wrestling cards, and hopefully one day I'll be able to get up to North Bay and Sudbury and see some other cards as well. I got to ask you this: Crossbody Pro Wrestling, they don't use mats around the ring. Do they do that up in Sudbury and Northland Wrestling with ring mats behind around the ring?
No, I've actually never worked with those. I've never
Okay.
been to one that has that. It would be a plus for sure, when you have to take a bump on the outside, but I've never worked with it, no.
What's the worst bump you've had so far in your career?
Probably a suplex on the hardwood gym floor. That was quite something. I didn't feel it at first, like it was like a shock, but you feel it. You feel it
The
later
next
that
day.
night.
The next day.
Yeah,
The next day. Yeah, because
exactly.
your adrenaline, not that I have done pro wrestling, probably kicks in, and then the next day when you're not, it probably that's when it hurts.
Oh yeah, it's brutal, but
Now,
but
have
that
you
was
done it? Oh, I was gonna also say I've seen some matches too. Addie Starr, who used to wrestle. I'm not sure if she's still wrestling because she's got back injury, but I know she
Mhm.
used to do Lego matches. Have you done any kind of gimmick matches so far in your career?
That is definitely a goal. For sure, I would love to do one of those at one point, but at this point in my career, I've never done them. It's definitely though something I would love to do. Like I'd love to eventually get to thumbtacks at one point. That's I want to do that at one point in my career, but I've never done it yet. But it's a goal for sure.
When you say the word thumbtacks, I think of Mick Foley, Cactus Jack. He was crazy, man. Crazy.
Yeah, he was something else.
Yeah, even the Lego, I've seen a Lego match and that looks painful too.
Yeah, those
Definitely.
are never fun.
All right. This next question, part of it you've already answered about being a heel and babyface. So, can you just tell my audience some fun facts about Zondra Lee?
Fun facts. I guess one was would be how young I am. I'm only 17 years old. Um, and as a heel, fun facts. I mean, something you will get to know about me is definitely my chops. That's it's
Oh,
one thing.
okay.
It's a staple for me. I'm kind of known for that. Like
Okay.
when you hear me chop someone, you're gonna remember it. And if you're the person I'm chopping, you'll remember that for a very long
So,
time. I can promise
so
you that.
are your chops sort of like Ric Flair's? Ric Flair had the best.
Yes, they're I would say they're very good. I would say I'm one of the harder hitters for sure.
Okay, good to know. And all right. And what is some of your other favorite music that you enjoy listening to?
Favorite music. I absolutely love hard rock, like death metal, like the screaming. It gets me going. Sometimes
Yeah.
it calms me down. That's definitely not a work or anything. That's what I listen to. It's rock. I will throw some pop in there or like older music like Elvis or something, but my favorite would be Rock for sure.
Yeah. And before we wrap this up, make sure when you see Jacques to say hi to him for me. And I told Jacques one of his characters was the Mountie, one of the most favorite heel characters, the Mountie. And I told Jacques we need to get a female version of the Mountie for 2023. And I think you would be perfect as that new Mountie. But you know what, Zondra Lee, you're fine as it is. But Jacques, I was a huge fan of his, and I just saw one of his matches from 30 years ago from SummerSlam, the jailhouse match with Big Bossman. If you ever get a chance of it, the end of it was hilarious with Jacques being sent to a jail, and it was hilarious. And I hope Jacques and his brother Raymond both get into the WWE Hall of Fame, and I really hope this Wrestling Academy goes well on May 20th. I hope you get the W, and I hope you get to go to the Wrestling Academy, in Georgia? What's the factory? Is it Wrestling Factory?
Yeah, the Nightmare Factory.
Nightmare Factory with Marshall and also Cody Rhodes and somebody else I'm thinking of.
Billy Gunn.
Billy Gunn, 3 legends in the industry. And again, the website to check it out is lutteacademy.ca or wrestlingacademy.ca. Do you know right now when your match is going to be taking place on the Sunday, August 20th?
No, I do not. I'll find that out when I get there.
You must be getting real excited because it's not that far away. It's 2 weeks away.
Yeah, it's just around the corner. It's trying to get as ready for it as I can.
And for those that can't get tickets and can't get down there, I believe it will be broadcast on their YouTube channel as well in a couple days as well.
Yes, it'll be a couple days after, but they'll get it up there for sure.
And in case Zoe and Casey Spinelli are watching this today, do you have any words to say to them before we wrap this up?
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited for it, but I'm going to bring everything I can into this match, the utmost respect. But I'm definitely going to give this 110% because I definitely want that W. I want to be able to prove myself that I belong there, and that I'll give it all I got because I'm gonna leave it all out there. But I cannot wait to work with you. It should be a good match, and I wish you all the best. But I'm gonna bring it on August 20th.
Okay, and I'll be cheering for you, by the way. And finally, we're going to wrap this up, Zondra. Any advice for those who are watching or listening to this podcast today, looking to pursue a career in the wrestling industry? And where, again, can my audience follow you, find you on social media?
Yeah, so you can find me on Facebook as just Zondra Lee. If you want to go over to Instagram, it's at Zondra Lee_wrestling. And if you're looking to start wrestling, definitely the best thing you can do is find a school and just start. Like, don't wait to start. Like, get started as soon as you can and work on building up strength, work on your cardio, definitely build up your body, and study matches, watch even seminars. Get as much knowledge as you can, and just put your name out there. Try and find a school and just try and get into it, and then take people's advice, like people who have been in the business, veterans, people who know what they're doing. Take their advice. You don't have to take everything, but take what works best for you. But just listen to people. They're there to try and help you.
And what do you enjoy the most about the wrestling industry? What draws you to it?
I think it's just the feeling you get when you're in the ring. Like it's for me, it just feels like I'm in control when I'm in there. I just feel that feeling when you're in there, you're at a show and everyone's eyes are on you, and you just know what you're doing, and you're confident in that. I think just that feeling of everyone watching you, and you're the reason that they're there, that you're in the spotlight. I think that's what does it for me, and that feeling that people look up to you. Like when people come up to me, like little kids, little girls come up to me after the match, and they're all excited or nervous, or they're all red in the face, just geeking out. That's the best feeling ever, knowing that you're a role model for people.
And that's
That's what does it
awesome.
for me.
And I'm hoping one day you'll have your own 8x10 photos and a T-shirt out there and some merchandise as well at some point, eh?
Yeah, I do have some stuff in. I'm getting new merch in soon, but I have a little bit right now.
I'll have to one day send you one of my Live with CDP baseball jerseys because that's what I'm working on now. You got to sell yourself, no matter if you're a wrestler or a radio host or whatever. You got to market and sell yourself and promote yourself as well, and keep working hard in the ring, Zondra, and keep
Mhm.
promoting yourself. And you definitely have me as a fan, and I just want to say thank you so much for doing this tonight, and I will send you a copy of the audio version and the video version, and I'm gonna re-listen to it again. I thought the show went really well tonight.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. It was fun to come on here.
Well,
It was a great experience. Thank you.
you're very welcome, and continued success in your career. And good luck 2 weeks from now. And I'm going to expect a W against those Zoe and Casey in Montreal. And again, make sure you say hi to Jacques Rougeau, aka the Mountie, but stay away from his shock stick.
I will do my best there.
Okay, Zondra. Well, thank you so much for coming on here. Episode 31, 306 overall on this August 6th. I hope you have a great rest of the evening, and we'll definitely keep in touch with you on social media.
All right, awesome. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you, Zondra. Good night.
Good night.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed season 6, episode 31 tonight with Zondra Lee, female pro wrestler out of the North Bay, Ontario area, and she is going to be in Wrestling Academy, Lutte Academy, Wrestling Academy on Sunday, August 20th. I believe 7 o'clock bell time at Club Soda in Montreal, Quebec, and I'm wishing her very much success in her triple threat match against Zoe Sager and Casey Spinelli as well. And guys, you can check out, I will put on her website here. You can check her out on Instagram as well, Zondra on Instagram. And it's Instagram.com/Zondra Lee _ wrestling as well. She's on Facebook as well. I forgot to ask her if she was on Twitter or not, but I'm not sure. But again, I want to say thank you to Zondra Lee for coming on here. And I'm definitely becoming a fan of hers. And I really like independent wrestling here in Ontario. And I think they don't get enough credit for what they do, the men and the women. It's not easy to do that as well. So, all right, guys, before we wrap up the show today, the next live with CDP Sports Talk brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet, Wednesday, August 9th at 2 p.m. Eastern with hockey writer Kevin Allen from Hockey Buzz and Detroit Hockey Now, who covers the Detroit Red Wings in the National Hockey League. Kevin Allen was the editor, the hockey editor and writer for the USA Today for 34 years as well. So if you want to know anything about the National Hockey League or the Detroit Red Wings, Kevin Allen's your guy. And I'm looking forward to having Kevin on my show for the third time this Wednesday, August 9th at 2 p.m. as well. And then Thursday at 4, I have Joe Whitbread, who is a voiceover artist and an MC out of Sylvan Lake, Alberta. And he's also the public address announcer for the Sylvan Lake Gulls baseball team of the Western Canadian Baseball League on my show as well. I have to talk to my co-host Nick Small about the Argo Bounce live audio show this week. Nick and me do that show once a week, breaking down the Toronto Argonauts home and road games and previewing their latest opponent. The Argonauts are coming off a disappointing 20-7 loss to Calgary on Friday night. Chad Kelly left the game with an ankle injury, and the Argonauts' next home game is Sunday, August 13th, 7 p.m. at BMO Field. If you can't get down the BMO Field, you can watch the game on TSN or listen to it on TSN 1050 with Mike Hogan and Ben Grant, who do a great job. I'm hoping to be at that game as a member of the media. So fingers crossed I get my media pass, and I will do some players and coaches interviews as well as a game night story from Toronto. And it's a beautiful stadium in Toronto. And if you want to go to the game, check out argonauts.ca, argonauts.ca for game tickets as well. And again, Sunday, August 20th, 2 weeks from now, I believe 7 o'clock. check out Wrestling Academy or Lutte Academy at Club Soda in Montreal, Quebec. And that's where you're going to see Zondra Lee wrestling, Zoe Sager, Casey Spinelli, and a whole bunch of very talented men and women to get into the wrestling factory in Georgia and have an opportunity to win $10,000 cash and get trained by Billy Gunn, Cody Rhodes, and GT Marshall, I believe, as well. And Jacques, I hope this event does really well, and I'm looking forward to coming down there next year as well and stuff like that. Guys, we're going to wrap up the show in just a minute, and just give me 1 second. As always, Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment talk show hosted by Chris Palme. Yours truly is on weeknights at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern on WQEE 99.1 FM, The Key, the home of Southern sports and talk, the heartbeat of Atlanta. Our radio station's website is wqeefm.radio.12345.com. I made a mistake there. It's wqeefm.radio12345.com. Some of the best of us can make mistakes as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk is live streamed on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. Thank you to everyone watching this on live streamed as well. My website, if you guys want to check out all my digital content, my previous episodes of my show, go to beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme there as well. Live with CDP Sports Talk is sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out barrycullen.com for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles. And also, guys, check out Barry Cullen Chevrolet right now for their Summer's Adventures event at Barry Cullen Chevrolet. 2023 Chevy Blazer RS, 4.99% financing for over 48 months. For more information and details, go to barrycullen.com or drop by the dealership at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. And I'm still happy with my 2023 Chevy Trailblazer RS model as well. Also, guys, you can check me out on TikTok at Live with CDP. I post a lot of my coaches, player interviews, and my media work on TikTok as well. So check out TikTok. Check me out at TikTok at Live with CDP. I sometimes still talk a little too fast, but don't mind me as well. StreamYard is the official live stream provider of Live with CDP Sports Talk. If you're into webinars or podcasting, check out StreamYard.com as well. Finally, guys, Live with CDP Sports Talk, the audio version is available on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Stitcher, Tuned In, and on radio station WQEE 99.1 FM as well. Also, you guys can email or text Live with CDP Sports Talk at cpalme19@gmail.com, or you can text the show at 519-820-7188. If you have questions, comments, or suggestions, I'd love to hear people's feedbacks, because the only way you get better as a podcaster and a radio host and doing media work is to get feedback, positive or negative sometimes, to see what you can do to improve as well. I have another comment here. Zachary Candle, I believe. I hope I didn't butcher your last name. Hey, Chris. Hi, Zach. Zachary, great interview tonight. Thank you so much, Zachary. Hey, I'm just a host. The guests make a show. So Zondra Lee was a great guest tonight, and I was lucky enough to have her come on. So thank you so much for the kind words. But like I said, I'm just a host. The guests are the ones that people are watching for as well. But I appreciate you, Zachary, for watching our show tonight. And that wraps up season 6, episode 31. 306 episodes gone. So again, I hope you guys, everybody has a great night. And for those here in Canada and Ontario, enjoy your civic holiday tomorrow on Monday, August 7th. And my next show is this Wednesday, August 9th, 2 p.m. Kevin Allen from Hockey Buzz and Detroit Hockey Now, who covers the Detroit Red Wings in the NHL, will be on my show. So if you're a big hockey fan, Red Wing fan, check out my show Wednesday at 2 with Kevin Allen as well. And I will let you guys know about the next Argo Bounce live audio show with Nick Small this week as well, to be determined. Anyways, again, thank you to Zondra Lee for coming on, and thank you to everyone for watching this live stream and on my audio platforms, and again on WQEE 99.1 FM in Metro Atlanta. And thank you to Barry Cullen Chevrolet for sponsoring this podcast radio show as well. I hope you all have a great night, and we'll see you Wednesday at 2 o'clock with Kevin Allen here on Live with CDP Sports Talk. Good night, everybody.